So there's a lot of things that I see online, and it really pisses me off, and too many to even really name. But it's like as time progresses, we get progressively dumber.
More dumbest.
Are you talking about us as a nation?
Yeah, just by if you didn't know anything about this, like, you know, Natalie said, was it last week's episode where she talked about what if the like aliens found like a show or a series
Yeah.
that we'd done? Well, what if the only thing they had to judge us by was shit they saw off the internet, like eating Tide Pod? You know,
no.
like,
Oh yeah.
like
Well,
just-
first they would need a reference to what Tide Pods are, but they would probably be like, it's a what they call laundry cleaning thing.
You don't think extraterrestrials use Tide Pods?
No, I don't think they have clothes.
They look like they're out of this world.
but
I have
they
some.
taste like it too, apparently.
I got it, Natalie.
They look like the galaxy.
I don't. I see, and I've always read we're getting smarter as a species, but I think that you see it more that I think you just see dumb people more.
Well, there's so much knowledge that's lost, though. I don't understand how that's possible because, even say 50 years ago, ask any regular person, just regular Joe, what the process is to canning vegetables, their own vegetables.
Uh-huh.
Most people probably just knew that, and now very few people have the knowledge to do it.
Everyone knows how to can vegetables. You put it against the can opener, and it spins around, and the lid comes off, and my food's in there.
That's uncanny.
Oh
That's
shit!
Uncanny.
But I understand what you're saying, but it's not a correlation causation thing. To me, it's more about we don't need to know how to can because we have facilities that produce them en masse. But I understand what you're saying, though, and it'd be the same thing about. I watch a thing called Townsend and Sons. Have you guys ever heard of this?
No.
It's what it would be like to live in the 18th century, and these people do this for a living, and they have like real historians come and play act as a role, and one of the roles for this person is the drunken laundress is her name, and she's from Ireland, but it's in West Virginia, and they live on this like 18th century plains, like housing and stuff like that. And they do it for fun, but they do it for educational purposes. But the way they did laundry back then was completely different than the way we do it now.
No Tide Pods?
No, not a single Tide Pod. They used urine as a bleaching agent. They left it out in the sun for like,
me too.
But it doesn't matter. What I'm trying to say is that I didn't know how they did laundry back then.
If you pee on your clothes now, you're in a lot of trouble.
Can we just go to the email now?
No.
That was upsetting.
But did they talk about anything like, think about this. We go to the store and get a gallon of milk or a half gallon of milk, and you put it in your refrigerator and everything's groovy. How do you think the settlers carried milk with them?
Through a pail. They did it when they needed it. They did store milk and they used silver to do it. Okay, well, I'm saying but they didn't store. They don't do things like they did back then nowadays because we have more efficient ways of doing it. We go to the store and buy milk because it's right there. It's convenient.
Well, what happens if we go back there? All that knowledge is lost. I feel like most of it is lost.
You're talking about like a regression of society.
Sure.
Like what would happen if? Well, I mean, that can be said for a lot of things. That's why I like survival books, because they teach you things that you don't know if you could ever really use or not.
I've probably talked about this on here before, but there was this show back in probably the late 90s, early 2000s on Discovery Channel called
The Colony. Yeah, I watched it.
Fucking phenomenal.
And it got canceled because nobody watched it.
No, it got canceled because one of the marauders got killed.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, one of the marauders they hired got hit in the head with a piece of pipe or something and died.
Oh.
But
I thought it's because nobody watched it.
It
wasn't very popular.
That was a fucking reality show that like I really, really liked. Just like Mad House. I really
because it
that
taught you something.
It did. Like a gasifier. Like I never would have thought about what would you use for a fuel source to run an engine.
Right.
They actually taught you how to use wood as an engine fuel source.
They taught you how to use or clean your water with rocks and coal.
And also the electronic one. The ionizer.
Yeah.
And they also made a trike out of a wash machine engine, some framing in a car, and some car batteries.
It also taught me that there's no place for artistry in the colony
And
because there was all engineers that were worth a fuck, and then like they had that one person who was just a dude who did comedy, and he didn't supply anything.
there was like a chick on that show, and at the beginning I was like, oh God, here they had to have at least one hot chick on here that's going to be completely
I remember,
worthless.
yeah.
Man, the first part of the show, she was terrible. Like, she'd be sitting there brushing her hair and stuff.
But like
As
two
it went
episodes
on,
later, yeah,
she was like one of the badasses.
yeah. Well, it shows you that we can adapt pretty well as humans.
Yeah, I think so. Not everybody's a lost cause, but when you see shit like yeet on the internet,
I don't get it. How do you spell it?
Yeeeeeet. Yeet.
I'm gonna.
And apparently, it's a thing that it's a meme. I mean, it's all memes.
Nick, tell us about something that annoys you on the internet.
Just the stupid Fortnite, and really anything Fortnite, just bugs.
Brandon loves Fortnite.
Perfect.
Like
He
videos
doesn't.
of kids doing
Got 'em.
Fortnite dances.
You gotta imagine the stupid shit we did when we were kids, though.
I know, but and yeah, there's a lot of stuff that we probably enjoyed as kids that if we look back on now, we'd be like, God, why did I like that?
I remember thinking about
But,
like the
God.
tight rolled jeans from the 90s and like the bangs that are curled up on the chicks like 6 inches, 8 inches
Yeah.
high in the front. I'm like, why was that cool? That looked stupid as shit.
Why were Jinkos cool?
Okay.
Jinkos still are
Yeetin
cool.
is an exclamation of excitement, approval, surprise, or all-around energy, often as issued when doing a dance move or throwing something.
Is it okay to be pissed off that that's probably going to be in the dictionary someday?
Probably.
It probably will be.
Like,
I mean, they put dolt in the dictionary from
fucking
The Simpsons.
somebody put jiggy in the dictionary. They put jiggy in the dictionary. The Will Smith term.
I don't know. I just remember that when you make up terms, it's like, Shakespeare did, he made up a lot of terms and he made up a lot of different ways to say something. But it just seems like when they do it now, it's just annoying. I don't know why.
Right.
I bet Shakespeare's probably like rolling in his grave right now.
No, they burned him for being a heretic, I'm sure. But there's a lot of things that's going on that I don't understand, and not to get political, but Roe versus Wade. It doesn't make any sense to me why we want to regress as a nation. But at the same time, it's like you only see that stuff because it's right there. If we lost all the knowledge that we had, somebody would rewrite it in the future. That's why science will never die, because science is always observing.
What if we were that stupid back then and Shakespeare, you're talking about Shakespeare and you'd be like, to yeet or not to yeet?
Oh, fuck.
That is the Tide Pod.
Can you imagine going to one of those shows back then and sitting in the audience and being like, this is groundbreaking?
You didn't sit,
Or
you
you-
stood.
Or stood.
All
And
the
it was
world's
like
a
a mosh
stage.
pit, too.
For Fortnite dances.
Stupid.
That theater was from like history lessons that I had growing up in school and stuff like that. Like the Globe Theater was like notorious for being just filthy. Like people would just like shit and piss everywhere in there because it was just once Shakespeare started like gaining fame back then, like people would fill that theater to like exceeding maximum capacity, and there'd be like no way to move around, anything like that, because the only other space in the theater was the stage.
That gives
People
me-
would just like shit and piss on each other and like
That gives me
everything.
anxiety.
The
oh
lady
my god,
doth
that's why I don't
eat
really go to
much,
concerts
I
anymore.
think.
What is it?
The lady doth eat much, I think.
Oh, gross. I just imagine. I liked all that like all the stuff I liked when I was a kid. I can't believe I liked.
Toys were cooler when I was a kid. I don't care. Like, yeah, okay, put a screen in front of a kid and they're fucking happy, sure. But I had the fucking Castle Grayskull, son.
Yeah.
I had that
I had a
shit.
GI.
Like, it seems
Joe
it
collection.
seems like the biggest difference between when and I can include myself in this because I mean, yeah, there was obviously more technology
You had Pokemon.
when I was a kid, but like it, I don't know. It seems more so back when I was growing up and back when we were all growing up. Like we had ways to actually use our imagination when we played, whereas now kids have tablets, phone, video games. That's it. I see so many kids only doing that.
And I know, but I mean, how many times do we get on our phone a day? You know what I mean?
But
yeah, exactly.
But we actually had the experience growing up of going outside with sticks with our buddies and pretending we were knights, or dressing up in cool costumes and pretending we were vigilantes or princesses, or whatever the case may be.
I was a princess.
We did a lot of dumb shit too. Like, I remember stealing a couple cinder blocks from the yard, and like my dad did construction work, so we always had shit like that, and a couple of like wood planks, and making these bicycle ramps that would just fuck up me and my buddies. Man, we get hurt so bad.
I think getting hurt's a part of the childhood.
Yeah, shit like that. We did a lot of football. Like, me and my friends, we'd all meet up in this big field in the neighborhood.
I couldn't do football.
I loved it, man.
Because I didn't like being around a lot of the football player kids, because they were usually rich kids that I didn't get along with.
Nobody in my neighborhood was rich. I grew up poor as shit.
No, I'm in from school.
Yeah, but you guys lived in like richer areas of town somehow when you were younger, didn't you?
No.
Where'd you? Okay.
Still Meadows.
We lived in the neighborhood across from Amanda.
Yeah, we lived in Still Meadow.
That's a nicer neighborhood than I ever lived in.
Some of the houses are very nice.
No, some of the houses were great. Some of the people that lived there were great, but we were poor as
I lived
fuck.
in Council
Yeah,
Bluffs.
we were the poor kids.
Council Bluffs it has some nice areas.
I lived
now
in shitty areas of Council Bluffs,
but
all my friends were cool. Like,
yeah, I remember playing with Super Soakers.
Yeah,
the most,
yeah.
And I remembering, and now I look back on it, and I was like, what a fucking waste of water. Like, that's just where my brain goes now. It's like, what a waste of water. We could have been using that water for so many different things.
We never could afford a fucking swimming pool when I was a kid. We had a neighborhood pool, but sometimes we couldn't dig up the money for all of my friends to go.
Yeah.
So a lot of times, man, I'd get in trouble for it, but we would just fuck up the yard with the sprinkler and just play in that shit.
I think being with the way technology's going, and to kind of end this conversation, but the way technology's going is that you don't have to go far for entertainment anymore. It's at the click of your wrist.
Anything you want.
It's like you can do anything you want on the internet now, and it doesn't matter if it's...
In a way, I think that is good. I'm not saying like the internet's all bad. The internet is a gateway for a lot of amazing things that we do with the world and with life today.
Yeah.
But people are using it for just... And I'm going to go to the fucking scam artists, and shit like that.
Like in India?
The Nigerian princes?
The Nigerian prince that needs
that shit was around since email's been around.
Yeah.
But yeah, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
But there's a guy on YouTube, actually. I'll give him a shout out. His name's what is it? Revolt, Scammer Revolt. That's his name. And he
TED Talks does.
No, the Indian companies that are in Bangladesh and all these places that like native Indian people do not want these people around, because all they do is create a problem they create more problems than they solve. But it's these scam artists that'll hack into your computer, delete your shit, and then tell you have a virus and they need to pay $500 to give them back in gift cards.
We dealt so much with that at our old job.
So people fall for that stuff.
Old.
Usually old people.
Yes, they do.
And young people, and people that aren't a litter of computers.
Yes, they do.
But this guy goes online and he hacks them. And what he'll do is, and you can look him up. He's really funny. He basically goes inside, because in order for them to connect to your computer, you have to connect to theirs first.
Yeah.
And that's where they fuck up. So he'll go inside their computer, and he's got his PCs on a VPN. So even if they deleted everything, it comes back right when he restarts his computer, because it's all protected. So he gets on their computer, and then he deletes and stores and copies all of their stuff over to his. And they're like, what are you doing? Then he'll put a syskey password on it. So next time they log in, they have to have the password that he set up. And then he'll sit there and go, so you're a scammer, figure it out, And then they're sitting there like, they had one scammer was begging him for the password back. He's like, can you please give me the password? He's like, this is my job. And he's like, you're scamming people. I'm not going to let you scam people. Like, you're taking money from innocent people.
Good for him.
It's really fucking funny.
Who was that again?
Scammer Revolt.
There was a guy I worked with at my last job that did that. Like in his free time, he would put his phone number. He had a burner phone, and he would put his phone number out on like crappy, shady websites, and just wait for calls from these scammers. And when they tried to get access to his computer, he would get access to theirs and just mess with all
I
their
wish
stuff.
I was smart.
I wouldn't even know where to begin.
Yeah, I wish I was smart. I could do that. That'd be a great way to spend my free time.
I can log in and I can get the little drink holder to come out and put my water or coffee on there.
You're talking about the CD tray, Natalie, and that's not where drinks go.
My drink
We don't
holder
use
has
CDs
these
anymore.
those little shiny coasters.
Those
Oh, yeah.
are CD. I don't think you guys know what's going on here.
Now, in this computer,
This computer
I
right
push the
here-
button and the drink tray comes out. I'm like, this is convenient because I can just grab my coffee like right there and then drink it and then I put it back.
It's all bending. And
But
shit.
sometimes if I hit the button, it'll go in and my coffee will fall. I'm like, that's not a convenient feature. God.
You sound like one of the Pawnee, Indiana people from Parks and Rec.
Oh my God. Him and his daughter and I went to the zoo and there was a kid doing the Pawnee over the water fountain where he had his mouth around it.
Oh my
we were
God.
like, Parks and Rec.
Oh, that's hilarious. That's also disgusting.
Yeah, it
but
was real
hilarious.
life. It was real
What's
life.
the town that Pawnee's like? Against?
Eagleton.
Eagleton.
Yeah, they call,
Eagletonians.
yeah, Pawnees call their or Eagletonians call their boogers Pawnee caviar.
The show is so great.
I
Oh,
just watched all the seasons over again, and
again?
I'm done. This is it. This is a new me. I'm not watching Office anymore.
Yeah.
Lies.
I'm not watching Parks and Rec anymore.
Okay.
Lies.
I've watched them all at least 50 times. No more. I'm done.
You know,
What are you going to move on to?
I don't know. I'm gonna try to find new things. But
This-
Chernobyl.
Wow.
I'm watching Chernobyl.
Oh, how's that?
It's really good. Before we get into that, we have to do the intro though.
Oh yeah.
This is the Don't Look Under That podcast for all things comedy and horror. One of your irradiated hosts, Dan Wonder. Next to me is
Natalie Rose?
next to her is
Denny Rose.
next to me again is
The green glowing Nicholas Myers.
okay.
What was yours? What did you say? Radiated?
Irradiated.
Irradiated. Okay.
Yeah, it's a really good show.
I'm your yeeting host.
No, God.
So to give you an idea of how good Chernobyl is, I had Tuesday off. I binge watched the whole thing in one sitting.
I'm gonna watch it tonight.
I mean, it's a mini series. You can get through in about 5.5 to 6 hours. I think is the total runtime for the whole mini series.
It's like 1 hour
I
and
have
20
no
minutes.
time
And-
this week.
and it's less than that. It's
Oh,
like
is
an
it?
hour and 5, hour and 10 minutes.
The
for
first
each
episode will piss you off.
Oh God, every episode will piss you off. Wait till you get to the last episode.
watch The Last Kingdom.
But no, we're talking about Chernobyl.
That
Jamie
wasn't
got
me.
shut
but-
down.
That wasn't me. That wasn't me. I didn't do that. That wasn't me.
Is it? Did you guys like the movie?
Chernobyl?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did
liked
too.
it a
I thought
lot.
it was weird. I liked it.
I don't like that Chernobyl happened, but I'm very
No.
interested in it.
Yes.
And it
It's-
happened a year after my birthday.
Do you know that there's packs of radioactive dogs living out there, and people actually go out and try to take care of them?
Yep.
Which I think is, I would go out there. I'm 37. I don't need much more time. I'd go out and take care of them.
Nick spends a lot of time at Barnes and Chernobyls.
You know what the
God.
most fucked up part of that first episode was though, when he picked up that graph.
Whoa.
Don't spoil it.
No, that's not really a spoiler.
And you can
It-
read
it's-
about it.
It's hard to spoil the series because everything that it does and goes over actually happened.
Yeah.
So you can't really spoil
It's
it
a
for
historical
Is
anything.
it like
piece.
Band of Brothers good? Did you watch that one
It's-
a long time ago?
Yeah. Fuck yeah. I love
Is
Band
it
of
is it
Brothers.
like that good? Because that was
Yeah.
amazing.
So
Yeah.
according
Okay.
to IMDb, and IMDb runs off of user rating.
Yeah.
But according to IMDb, Chernobyl is the #1 rated TV show of all time.
Wow, Game of
as
Thrones
of right
came in
now.
6th.
So the
Read this
rating,
list.
The rating. Okay, so I'll go over the top 10. #1, Chernobyl. #2. Okay, so Chernobyl's sitting at a 9.6.
You're supposed to start with the last one first.
Well, I already said Chernobyl was
So you
number
already
1, so
spoiled
there's no suspense.
Keep fucking
So #2 is Planet Earth 2 at 9.5. #3 is
Okay.
Band of Brothers at 9.4.
Okay.
#4 is Planet Earth at
Fucking
Yes.
9.4.
Batman's probably in there.
#5 is Breaking Bad at 9.4.
Okay. I like this list.
Yeah,
Game-
okay.
Game of Thrones is sitting at 6 with a 9.3, which I'm sure that dropped quite a bit
Is
because
Blue's
of
Clues on there.
the last couple seasons. No, Blue's Clues is not on there. #7 is The Wire at 9.3.
I've never watched
I never
it.
watched that one
I
Is that
either.
haven't
with
either.
Dick Mackey.
I've never watched The Wire, but
I heard it's
from
really
what I've
good.
heard, it's like
I've heard
one
it's
of
amazing,
HBO's
too.
best series ever. #8 is Our Planet at 9.2.
A lot of
Yes.
planetary
Oh,
ones.
that's because they're amazing.
Oh, yeah.
9 is Blue Planet 2 at
Yes.
9.2.
I agree with
And
that.
#10 is Cosmos at 9.2.
Damn, this is a great
And
list.
here's
That's a
something
fucking awesome
actually
list.
really awesome. #11 is Rick and Morty at 9.2.
That's
Oh,
because Rick and
I
Morty
would-
has a lot to say.
I don't like.
I didn't like
can't
it.
get interested in it.
It's
I
really
tried.
funny.
It's
But,
really loud.
You know, everybody
You really
loves,
have to
like,
pay attention to it to
Doctor
get
Who
the
as
jokes.
well, and I can't get behind that either.
I love
I
Doctor
can't
Who.
get behind Doctor
Which
Who.
one? Oh,
Doctor
Doctor Who.
Who.
Yeah.
I love Doctor
I know you
Who.
like Doctor Who.
Yeah, that's a great list.
There were a lot of surprising shows, and I scrolled through the
Those
top 100.
planet
And
shows are
there's a lot of
fucking
surprising
so
ones.
beautiful.
I'm
on
just
here.
happy that the planet shows and Chernobyl beat out Game of Thrones
Sometimes,
Yeah.
because
I
it
have to
deserves
go
it.
back
I'm
because
surprised.
Sorry,
No, go ahead.
I like Natalie's like, I watched The Office when we first got together, and I'm like, I'd seen a couple episodes, and I'm like, it wasn't for me. But then when I went back and really watched it, I loved it. Same with Game of Thrones. The first time I saw Game of Thrones, or I mean, not Game of Thrones, Walking Dead, I'm like, no, I don't like this at all. But then I went back and just said, all right, I'm going to see what the hype is. I'm really going to give this a chance. Now it's one of my favorite shows, if not my favorite show.
I understand because I don't like American Gods, and by all rights I should, but I think it's a shitty show.
I've not seen that one yet, but I
I
heard.
need to watch that.
For
It's not-
as fake as it is, and you know that it's not how life works, I fucking love Sons of Anarchy.
So it was a great show. I just didn't like the last season.
Yeah.
That ruined it for me. But Breaking Bad's good all the way through.
I like
Tara got
Breaking
stabbed
Bad.
in the head with a fork, and I hated Tara, so I was happy about it.
I like Tara. She was the only one that had really
She
fucking
looks like my
sense.
sister.
First off, no, she doesn't.
Yes, she does.
And second off,
Easy, Dan.
She's a married woman.
but Sons of Anarchy, just like Game of Thrones,
Maggie Sif.
did a good job up until the last season.
There's a lot of shows that seem to really like. It seems like the last season can make or break the show.
Like Breaking Bad, I thought their last season was great.
Breaking Bad's a
the way
Cadbury
they
egg.
ended
They
the way
nailed
they
it.
ended that series is just like they couldn't have ended it
It's a-
any better.
Some of the best writing in the.
Don't
in the
laugh at me, dude, because I did like this show, but it got horrible as time went on. Fucking True Blood started out amazing.
Yeah, season 2, when that started, I was like, this show sucks ass.
Did you watch the first season?
And I thought it was like slow and heavily paced and nice. It was a nice little. I don't care for vampires that much
It
unless
had
it's
all the
Bella,
pretty people.
unless it's
and-
Bela Lugosi. But like
Or Twilight.
No,
I love some Jessica, though, bro.
no,
So,
no.
Jessica?
I don't know who
yeah,
Jessica is.
the
redheaded
redhead.
True Blood?
If you didn't see past season 2, he probably doesn't know who that
I don't
is.
think that
I'll
she's.
send it over.
She was in
Yeah.
Daredevil. Did you watch
I
Daredevil?
don't think she's attractive.
Yeah.
You're
sorry.
stupid.
I know. but what can you do?
The books are supposed to be really good. The Sookie Stackhouse series. I have not read any. I'm
No, I'm
actually
sure they are.
I'm actually in queue at the library to
Our
get
dog's
the.
name's-
No,
Audible.
it had a great intro. It had a great first season.
Oh,
and then,
that song at the beginning is amazing.
man, they just
I love the song.
that show took a huge dump.
I want to do bad things to you.
We got an email,
Oh, yeah?
I think.
Oh yeah.
Don't we?
You've got mail.
Vance, do we have one?
Yeah, we do. You
Go
want me
ahead.
to read it or
Yeah, you go ahead.
send it to Nick?
No, you got it.
All right.
Unless you're nervous, I can do it. We believe in you, Vance.
Dear D-Lub, love the show. I was wondering if you all had to live off of any one human body part, what would it be and why? Keep up the fun and informative show. Amanda, hug and kiss.
But
You say butt?
butt cheek.
Obviously, that's a made up name for privacy.
Maybe it's not.
Right.
Maybe
I
we
don't-
named her.
Maybe they
May-
put their real name in and we
Maybe it's a
edited
him.
You'll never
yeah,
know.
maybe.
And frankly, if you don't know, then that's just whatever. I would probably choose leg. It's simple, easy.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna
Leg.
say. Like,
Like Nick, Vance,
would you do the whole leg or like the knee below or
Knee
the knee
below.
above?
maybe
So-
some thigh.
I get that thigh on there.
The thigh.
Nom, 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 nom.
So coincidentally enough, the reason I wanted to do this email of the couple emails that we received was because I had a friend actually ask me a similar question to this recently, and so I already had an answer.
You never
Ooh.
go ass to mouth.
Nipple.
Why?
God damn
Just
it.
convince
What's
yourself it's a
with you with
pepperoni.
nipples?
That's fucking disgusting.
I'm sorry if you okay, like okay, so the answer I gave my friend was I would put it on a pizza, fry it up, and just hide it underneath the pepperoni,
But you
and I'd
can't
never
have
know it was
anything
there.
else. It's the one food you have to live off.
No, that was the answer I gave my friend, but I'm still sticking with nipple because you just
probably
cook
your
it
ex-friend.
and
You
just
know, a couple weeks
pretend
ago you
it's
wanted to cut a
pepperoni.
hole in your shirt so you can access your nipple. So I'm wondering what's really going on that side of the table.
I don't know.
I can tell you, it's not all good over here, Barb.
Back to you.
Back to you, John. Vance.
So I'm fat, and I love to eat. But I would die because I couldn't do it. There's not one human body part I could eat.
But if you absolutely
I'll die.
You'll just go against.
No, there's okay.
I'll just starve myself.
Let's put this in a scenario where there's no scapegoat.
What if somebody put it in your new smoker?
You have to do it.
gun to the head.
Did you say what if you put it
you're
in my new
immortal.
smoker?
Yeah.
You're an immortal god. There's no way you can die. You have to eat a human body part as part of a godlike sacrifice.
But I just won't.
And then you just vanish?
Yep.
Wow. I'd be like, line it up, bring
Not
it
even-
over.
Not even like a strand of hair or like a fingernail.
Ugh, who'd do that?
He always tells his daughter to come chew on his toenail.
Oh,
He's like, Dad.
Gross.
No, I can't.
Oh,
Okay.
man.
Yeah, you
I'm
have.
sorry, I
you
just-
have-
like, bring me
not
a
even
finger.
like a little strip of skin.
Nope.
All right.
What if we didn't tell you and then
You're no fun.
I'd murder you afterward.
That's not fair. But well, thanks again for writing us in. I don't know why I had such trouble.
I'd literally kill you.
Why?
If you fed me a human,
But how would,
any part of a human.
What if we just never told you?
Well, then I would never know.
Then you can never kill me.
So
Moving
then it's
on.
not relevant.
Moving on.
I never want to eat a human being.
I'm just saying, part of a leg, it's not that big of a
There's
deal.
two things I will never eat, and that's humans and poop.
Yeah, well, you're not supposed to eat poop.
Oh,
And
was that an option?
And caviar.
Ooh, I've had caviar.
I've had it once. It's not that great.
No.
I don't understand
people.
it. Fucking rich people. Yeah, exactly.
Hey, we have
Do you like that movie?
like $10.
What
name?
movie?
The Hostage with Bruce Willis?
Oh, that was a good movie.
That was a great movie.
I loved
I
that
don't
movie.
remember a whole lot of that about that movie.
He was a hostage negotiator, and something went wrong, and this family died, so he moved to this small town, and he became the sheriff. Well, there's this rich guy that was into some kind of embezzlement shit and fraud, and these people, like, broke into this kid's house, and they was super rich, dude. It was, like, on the face of this fucking mountain, and you could push a button, and it turned it into, like, a fortress.
Like Richie
And
Rich.
Bruce Willis goes, fucking rich people.
Didn't they like accidentally take the kids hostage too?
Yeah.
Like they followed him there because like one of them was like attracted to the daughter, so they kind of like in a stalker
little
move
cutie.
like followed
There's
them
the-
there, and then like I can't. It's been a long time since I've seen it, but Ben Foster was phenomenal. in that
Ben
movie.
Foster's phenomenal.
I like
in
Ben Foster.
everything.
Ben Foster's a beast.
He's
That guy is
amazing.
such
What's he
an
in now?
underrated actor.
He was in 310 to Yuma.
310 to Yuma was so good, dude.
Yeah,
was a good movie.
the most recent movie I've seen that he was in was Galveston, which he did with
That's on
Dakota
Netflix.
Fanning's younger sister, Elle.
Elle Fanning.
Yeah, Elle Fanning.
He
And that was a
reminds
really good
me-
movie.
He reminds me of the dude that was in Shallow Hal.
Which one?
Jack Black's buddy in Shallow Hal that had the tail.
Jason Alexander.
Jason Alexander?
Yeah,
Ben Foster does?
yeah.
I don't think you're thinking of the right person.
I don't think you are either.
Ben Foster played Archangel in X-Men.
This is Ben Foster.
No, the dad. Who's
Oh.
the dad?
I don't know.
We're not talking about the dad.
We're talking about Ben Foster,
sorry.
son.
Trying to keep up here.
Natalie, what's our topic for tonight?
We're doing our next state on our road trip. He is in a lot of stuff actually lately. I just looked up his IMDb.
Kevin Pollak.
Now that I can see Kevin Pollak and
That-
Jason Alexander.
Yeah.
That was the dad.
Okay.
That was the dad in Hostage. Kevin Pollak.
All right, so we're doing Alaska, north to Alaska. North the Rush is on.
That's a great song by Johnny Horton.
Yes, actually, that's what I named her because I knew that song. I know things. This is actually going to be a two-parter because the Most Notorious Killer, I just could not stop writing, and he is a pile of shit. But we'll do him next week.
I love piles of shit.
Oh,
But you don't eat poop.
I don't want to eat them. I mean, I love learning about super evil, fucked up people.
all right.
Well,
so
it's a good thing you're on this podcast.
yeah, that's true. So last week we were in Alabama. We've got back in the RV, hit the button, and drove on up to Alaska. Had to drive through Canada. Hey guys, how's it going? Thanks for listening. I see you on our map. We appreciate you.
We see you waving.
They
Can
are
we
in
get some
polite
free
state.
healthcare?
Yeah.
They love our podcast up there, and they're like learning all about our.
I want to go to
Stuff.
Canada so bad.
Me too. I want to go just see
Canadian.
like the mountains and stuff. Like
We should
oh,
do
Have you
it
ever-
next summer. We should all just jump in the D-Lub van, and cruise north. Just go.
I think
With a
you have to
D-Lo
have a
van?
passport.
I have a
brother.
passport.
I
Have
don't.
you
I gotta get a
ever-
new one.
You can get one.
Well, you can get the passport card. I don't know
No,
if it's
that's
easier.
just for Mexico.
Oh, I thought you could get it for Canada.
too.
Oh,
I think it's
anywhere
any
you don't have to fly.
any bordering country you can
No,
use a
it-
passport
You
card
can use
for.
it even if you boat somewhere. You just can't fly.
Oh. But have you ever seen, I think it was a Tumblr thread, but it was just a bunch of people talking about like all the perks of being Canadian, like the free healthcare and
Mhm.
like the coffee and Tim Hortons, like all that stuff and hockey. And then someone, it was this lengthy Tumblr thread, and someone at the end was like, what the fuck is Canada even? Is this place like mythical? Is this place like
Wait.
just
They didn't
because
know
of
what it
how?
was?
So
No. It was
Just
joking
because of
about
how great it is up there.
because of how great Canada is.
Well, so fucking Canada's great and all. The free healthcare, I don't think I agree with. Just because like you got to spend, I heard, hours and hours in the waiting room at the fucking emergency room there. And
I don't know. I've never been there. I don't know.
I do want to go there though.
I'll break my finger when I go up there, and we'll see.
Can I do it? Can I break your
Sure,
finger?
why not?
You heard it here first, folks.
You should feed him a human
You
body
should-
parts,
yeah.
and then you'll
You
end up
should
in a
break your
hospital for
thumb.
sure.
Why?
Because it'd be the easiest thing for you to break.
Why?
Well, so all you gotta do is clench up your butt cheeks real tight.
Oh,
You,
Natalie,
you are
you
talking
didn't, you didn't see that coming.
So
Really?
we've arrived in Alaska.
Yeah, we're here.
Hi everyone. Let's start with the.
I'm not laughing.
The sounds
Yes,
Oh,
of
you
that.
God.
are.
No, I'm not.
All right, let's do a mythical creature. The Kalupalik, Inuit legend. They have green skin, long hair, very long fingernails.
The Kalupalik.
She lives in the sea and hums to entice children to come closer and closer to the water.
Oh.
She wears an amatik. I don't know if I'm saying that right. An amatik is a parka worn by Inuit women to hold a child against their back. And it's got like a little built-in baby pouch just below the hood so they can walk around with them. Kind of like a papoose if you've ever seen one
This
of those.
thing's fucking crazy looking.
Dan's gonna
Yeah.
get a papoose for his new cat.
Oh,
I'd love to have one.
Oh, she is precious.
One of these pictures I see online of what a Kalupalik, like artist rendition of it, kind of looks like Abe Sapien.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Abe Sapien's wife.
Hey Dan, would it be okay if we posted on our Facebook a picture of your little Samus?
Go
so,
ask. Yeah.
everybody.
You're good to
can see?
go. That's
She's-
fine with me.
Adorable. And if you want to look that up, if you're playing along at home, it's Qalupalik. So
Kalupalik.
very, very interesting looking. So parents tell their children if they're disobedient or they wander too close to the seashore, she will come to the shore and put them in her amatik. So she takes them into the water with her as she hums, and they go on together, and then they never see their family again. So some kids are out there probably like, damn, it's so bad.
Merman.
Let's drive on over to a haunted place, the University of Alaska at Anchorage, the UAA. Wendy Williamson Auditorium, just over 40 years old. The auditorium is said to have numerous ghosts. There are angry male spirit that will push brunettes with long hair. So random. I know. I was like, oh shit, that's me.
I only like blonde. Push.
Push.
Hey, that's me too.
Oh yeah. There are even stories of a woman in white making appearance on stage during a performance.
And that's Nick.
Nick is the woman in white.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. There are also spirits of giggling children and a teenage boy. Oh, that's
Weird.
Yeah. He didn't get the part in theater, so he killed himself, and now he's haunting the auditorium. It's very Phantom of the Opera like.
I wonder if you go into the theater there and they're doing a play and you hear, because it's in Alaska, like, "Why sun come out in 6 months?"
Oh my god.
Right
So-
now, it'd be their summer solstice, wouldn't it? Or is that next month?
I want to see the Northern Lights real bad.
Me too.
Let's
Have
go.
you guys seen that? Anybody here?
Nope.
Anybody
No, I haven't.
Can
We
go
were supposed to be able
I've
to
never
see it a
been to
couple.
Alaska.
What was it, like maybe a month ago? We were supposed
Yeah,
to be
it
able to
was
see it, but it
raining.
was like rainy and overcast the
there? Ruined
2
it for
days
us.
that we were supposed to be able to see it.
Yep.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot, Mother
Nature.
Nature. All right, another haunted
bad
place
for
is the Diamond Center. It's a 728,000 square foot shopping mall in Anchorage, Alaska. When they built the mall, they dug up the remains of ancient Indian burial ground, and stories tell that the ghosts wander the corridors in the mall and empty restrooms, etc.
They never watched Poltergeist.
That's what I thought.
That is a
well,
bad
that one
idea.
they didn't dig up the bodies; they just built over it, right?
In Poltergeist?
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
This
the
one
house was built
they
on, like,
dug
a-
up the bodies,
yeah.
and then the spirits now still wander.
This house is
That's not how that
Why
works.
the fuck would you ever move or disrupt a burial site in the first place?
They do it all the time. Remember, we did
I
the
know,
golf
golf course one, but it's
they-
just like, why the fuck would you do that?
because
we
of-
need a Starbucks here.
Yeah,
It's ridiculous, dude.
because people realize
sorry.
that these cemeteries are built on this beautiful land, and they're like, oh no, we have to put something here.
Oh.
We need a nail salon, a check place, a Starbucks, another Starbucks across the street, another check place across the street.
In a gas station.
a new Paunch Burger.
Have you ever heard? You're looking at us like, have you never heard Louis C.K.? He's like, there's a Starbucks, or not Louis C.K. Louis Black,
There's a Starbucks.
and across the street there's a Starbucks. He's like
Disney-
losing his
Funny
mind.
story about that. So I don't know if any of you guys have ever been to Boston, but
No.
Yeah.
I went to Boston right after I graduated high school, and there is literally Dunkin' Donuts everywhere.
Oh yeah,
Dunkin'
that's
Donuts.
what I hear.
It's like a
Jim
it's like an
Gaffigan talks about that.
infestation. It's like an infestation.
The
No,
Dunkin' Donut.
there was a strip in
New
Boston,
York.
and I can't remember where it was, but there was a Dunkin' Donuts
Well, Dan, Boston's in New York.
all in the same building. There's a
I'm
all-
listening.
all in the same like giant building, same strip. Dunkin' Donuts, a store, some random store. I can't even remember what it was, and then a Dunkin' Donuts, literally like 2 doors down from a Dunkin' Donuts.
You know what Boston
That's just
sounds
excessive.
like to me? Boston sounds like
Boston,
Pennsylvania
huh?
and New York accents merge.
Pennsylvania doesn't really have an accent.
Yes, they effing
Mhm.
do.
I've never heard it.
Yeah, they do.
I think
Oh,
it
man.
depends on
I've
what
been
part
there.
of Pennsylvania.
You've never
you're
done
I
customer
lived in
service on the
Pennsylvania.
phone and listened to a Pennsylvania person talk.
I live in
Nope.
They have a very
Pennsylvania with
distinct
crazy
accent.
chick.
No, I usually get New Yorkers on my phone.
New Yorkers.
All right, roll back in vintage true crime. This is John Cooper and Walter Wimbish. John and Walter were mining partners near Pedro Creek, Alaska. Wimbish disappeared in November of 1910. No one thought anything of it at the time. It was common for miners to wander off to new places to explore new mines during this time. You know, the gold rush is on. So, but about 6 months of no word from Wimbish, fingers started to get pointing towards John Cooper. Authorities declined to get involved, possibly because he was black, or because they went over and their miners were known to like I said, leave and go explore large areas. So time moved on, and in August 1911, several of Wimbish's acquaintances got involved. They began to explore the mine in Pedro Creek. At the bottom of the shaft, they found a bloody straight razor, which confirmed their suspicion that Wimbish had been murdered. After the razor was found, the U.S. Attorney General ordered federal officials to investigate. They discovered charred bones said to be human at the Wimbish and Cooper abandoned mining camp. The Fairbanks newspaper reported a grisly discovery in their August 16th, 1911 edition, which said more startling than any previous developments in the Wimbish mystery was the discovery on Monday that by Deputy Marshal Cunningham of charred bones and remnants of burned clothes and buttons in the remains of a woodpile above the shaft of the Wimbish mine on Pedro. The bones lie within length of 6 feet at one end of the burned woodpile, and at one end 6 feet space of the eyelets of the shoes were picked up. And in the same ashes were found what to be believed knuckle bones. So that was from the paper itself. The next day, a search party found another burn site about a quarter mile away from the previous site. This pile had human teeth, charred bones, and buttons. Authorities believe that when Wimbish's friends started to call for an investigation, Cooper returned to the campsite, gathered up the remaining stuff, and then burned them in a second time, sometime in the last 30 days of when they found the second burn site. So it's like he came and picked up stuff and then moved it and decided to burn it again, try to get rid of it.
Smart.
Yeah. So John Cooper never left the Fairbanks area and was arrested. While he was working a new claim, he was his partner on the claim was a German man named Creasy. Creasy said to officials that Cooper had recently tried to poison him. So Cooper's trial was scheduled and delayed more than a dozen times. He went to trial in September of 1912. The Fairbanks newspaper had by then lost interest in the case, and they didn't even send a reporter over to cover the trial. He was convicted on September 25th, 1912, and sentenced to life in prison. And an appeal delayed his commitment to federal prison until November. But he actually died February 21st, 1920, following an unsuccessful operation by prison doctors. And it said that they didn't disclose like what the operation was.
First off, everybody knows the best way to burn a body is in the trunk of a car.
Now, why is that?
Because the way that the spare tire sits, and it's on a steel rim, A, the tire burns super fucking hot. B, it gets airflow up under the rim, and it just incinerates everything. B, I just think I should tell you guys, we have a chat system that we use, and for information back and forth, whatever, whether we're sitting at the podcast table or we are out and about at our jobs or whatever. And Eric, our social media guy, said that if he had to live off a body part, it would be butt roast.
See? Butt.
Butt.
What did you reply, Nick? Literal rump roast.
Literal rump roast.
Literal rump roast. Very good.
Sweet meat.
Now, what if there's no tire in the trunk? Should you still burn the body there? I'm not making notes for us going out later. I was just wondering, just curiosity's sake.
What
I don't
kind of
have
person goes out without a spare tire?
I don't have one.
I don't have one either.
I don't have one.
I do.
I need one, but I can't afford it.
What kind of person sends their wife out without a spare tire?
Got him.
This guy.
He's making room for my body.
Yeah? What kind of person lets their sister go out with a spare tire?
It's not our responsibility.
She's dead to me.
She's dead to me.
Over. All right, mythical creature. It's a keelet.
Hold on. I just want to point out that if you had a flat tire, how fast would I be there to change it for?
Jimmy John's.
Within 48 hours.
No, he's a mechanic, so actually I can change my own tire.
And the
Thank
correct
you.
term is mechanic.
Mechanic. All right, a keelet, described as an evil spirit that takes the form of a black hairless dog, but it does have hair on its feet. So I was thinking Chinese crested, but without the fur on the ears. So said to be from the underworld, and it comes to the surface mostly in winter. Said to follow travelers at night, attacking and killing them. If you find a trail of dog tracks that suddenly disappeared, it is believed to be that of the keelet, and it's believed that it is nearby. Likes to attack people that travel alone. It simply looks at them, and they forget who they are and where they're going. The disoriented victim dies of hypothermia, and the keelet feasts upon the dead. But it is known to run away from loud noises and shouts, and it's sensitive to its own name, but it is very stealthy, so most of the time, he can sneak up on you. So I was thinking he probably doesn't go in that screaming woods that we did a few episodes ago.
Oh, yeah.
This probably doesn't go in there. So you're safe.
This thing's really cool looking. Too.
Yeah. It looks like
a lot of pictures
a demon
of it
dog.
online, but yeah.
You throw a link up.
Yeah, it looks like a demon dog. All right, haunted places. This is the Kennecott Copper Mine outside of McCarthy, Alaska. It's a profitable mine. The railroad through the area was eventually abandoned due to the cost of constantly having to change the positions of the track across a nearby glacier. So they'd have to literally go and move the track up every couple days or so because the glacier would shift and move, and it went around it. And so that was obviously costly. So they, just ditched it. So there's all this railroad track that literally has nothing on it. The mining camp became a ghost town because of this, and the ghost town is said to be the most haunted place in Alaska. Tombstones appear and vanish along the hiking trails. People claim to hear sounds of children crying and a poltergeist activity. State workers who were trying to redevelop the area into government housing projects in the 1990s were driven away in fear against the activity of the poltergeist. I guess it was really, really haunted. The workers claimed that their tools would get stolen right out of their tool belts and boxes.
My damn tools.
So
hand me that hammer. Oh no. Where'd it go?
You know how some people say axe instead of ass?
Yeah.
Would it be funny if those same people called it Alexa?
Alexa, tell me how big Alaska is.
I don't understand your question.
You're a stupid bitch.
Ask me something else.
Do it yourself. That's what it really should say. We don't need you. Sorry, I'm taking a stance.
We don't allow those in the house.
Those are stupid. Those are fucking
I don't want
dumb.
the government listening in.
Okay, that
They
too.
can't get past my tinfoil hat. They're not getting past my Alexa.
It doesn't matter because the same technology's in your fucking laptop and your cell phone,
Plus your
and
teeth.
your gaming console, your
Yeah.
TV. It doesn't
He
matter.
said teeth.
No, they drilled a hole in the
Shut
back of
your
my
mouth.
they drilled a hole in the back of my tooth, and that's why they get their antennae in there. I
That's
can't
why
take
they
it
want
out.
you to go to the dentist every 6
Yeah.
months for a
Right,
checkup so they can
exactly.
keep batteries in that.
Dan.
Yeah.
We're going to have to talk about your meth intake.
No, I'm going to take my
No.
teeth out, and then I'm going to tell the government.
Yet again, meth intake.
Okay, I'm gonna do it via meth. I don't have to go to the dentist. I can just take my teeth out with meth. I
Ugh.
gotta get this tooth. I gotta get this tooth out. It's driving me nuts. Just do some meth. It'll fall out on its
I
own.
want to lose weight. I'm going to start crocodile.
Ugh.
Whoa.
God.
You'll lose more than that.
I told your daughter to look up pictures of crocodile because she wants to be a doctor.
Who'd?
His daughter.
Oh,
I don't know if she has yet, but she wants to be a doctor. And so I was like, we were at the zoo and we were talking about crocodiles. I'm like, you should look at pictures of the crocodile.
that shit's nasty.
It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, it does not compute on the crocodile. All right, haunted places. The Alaskan Hotel, built in 1913. Local stories include a ghost named Alice. Her husband went in search of gold and said he would be back in a month, but he did not come back. Alice turned to prostitution to provide for herself after the money that her husband left her was used up. A short while later, her husband returned. He saw her with another man in their room of 219. He became enraged and fired several rounds into the trick and then one into Alice. She died in bed, and she is seen wearing a gown and goes around with her arms stretched out. She lingers in and out around the room. Both guests and staff have seen her. Some guests have even asked to change rooms because of Alice. She's not like a malicious ghost or anything, but she's more of a nuisance and people don't want to deal with her.
Like most ghosts.
Yeah. Oh, there's this ghost in my room and she's watching me, Andrea.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah.
Hotel front desk, how can I help you?
There's a ghost in my room, and it keeps. I don't know what it's doing, but it wants to watch me.
She's our resident whore. It's fine.
But that's not fair. I paid for.
Sir. Click.
I can't believe this shit. What fucking hotel is this?
Damn, I think you got hung up on.
I know.
I don't think this is going to have a very good Yelp
Pack
review.
the kids up. We're fucking leaving.
We're going to write a nasty Yelp review about this place.
But Melvin, we just got here.
Too bad. If we leave a kid behind, so sad.
You
Oh,
can never
wow.
go anywhere.
That would suck.
To have a ghost in your room or leave a kid behind.
No, leaving kids behind's fine, I guess.
He's like, get hung up on by the front
Yeah,
desk.
get hung up by the front desk. Jerks.
Can you bring me some fresh towels and get this ghost out of my room? Thanks. All right, so room 315 is said to be a dark and creepy. People feel uneasy and feel creepy sensations while in the room. May 2007, a USS Bunker Hill guided missile cruiser was in port. Excuse me. It was set to leave the next day. There was a sailor on the boat that he called the hotel and asked him to be put up in the most haunted room. This is kind of weird. So the staff's like, oh, let's put him in 315, whatever. That night, the police were called to the hotel for a disturbance in room 315. The staff and police heard screaming from inside the room. Then someone came up and told them that, hey, someone just jumped out. There was like a band playing downstairs, they said, and there was like a big gathering, but somebody, I don't know if it was a person next to their room, but somebody had seen him actually jump out the window. So the sailor got caught in between the two buildings, and he shattered the glass of another room on the way down. And then police officers broke down the room, and inside they said that the walls were covered in blood. So the sailor it was on the third floor, I believe, and the sailor had injuries all over his person, and he was medevac to Juneau, and he did survive all of his cuts and bruises and bones breakage, I'm sure. But his mother called the next day mad because the staff had put him up in a haunted room.
So, can I just say something? I just had a realization here that being scared of ghosts is all about perspective, because I just thought to myself, if you saw a dude running down a hallway from a ghost, you'd be pretty scared, right?
I wouldn't see a ghost. Like, so.
But if you did, you'd be pretty scared.
Right, I guess.
But what if that same guy was running from the same ghost and the Benny Hill song was playing?
I don't know how it goes. Yeah.
It's not scary anymore.
No, it's
That'd be great.
But if you play the Benny Hill theme over anything, it's gonna be funny.
Yeah.
I mean,
that was a good show.
except like
it was
there's
a terrible show, but
there's some things. I'll tell you
It
what.
was good. I liked it.
Listeners, do me a favor. Write us about what would not be funny even with the Benny Hill theme song
Yes.
playing over it.
The Holocaust. I win.
Oh no.
I win.
that's fucking terrible.
That would not be funny even with the Benny Hill song playing over it. No, that would not be funny.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Man, you just went for it on that one, didn't you?
That's like the worst thing that's
I know.
ever happened.
I know. I'm
So
just
you
saying,
still
you
couldn't
like,
make that fun.
Natalie, we
Well,
get it. We get
Whoa,
it.
whoa.
No, you guys are freaking out like I said something bad.
I know, but you
Natalie.
said Holocaust. It's kind of a buzzword.
Or
Yeah,
what
God.
could be entertaining with the Benny Hill song? And what could like
A man being eaten by a lion.
no
Yeah, you just laughed at it.
Unless
I did because I saw it in my head.
Not funny if it's an innocent civilian. Hilarious if it's a poacher.
If it's a Nazi or a poacher.
okay.
Oh, you
Yeah,
can say
okay.
the Nazi word, but I can't
I
say
actually-
Holocaust.
I saw a story the other day that a poacher got trampled by elephants.
Good.
He
Fuck yeah.
so he was poaching a rhino. He
That
was trying to
needs to be
kill
the
an
Hill
endangered
song.
rhino. He got ran over by a herd of elephants, didn't die, and then lions came in and finished him
Yes.
off. And I was
Yeah.
like, fuck yeah.
Take it back,
Kingdom
animals.
working together.
Were you like sweet justice?
Yes.
Sweet pea.
Just like that.
Most poachers need to go fuck themselves.
All poachers need to go fuck
need to go
themselves.
fuck themselves.
You know Jimmy John's is a poacher.
Yeah, the guy who...
He's a big hunter.
Whoa, what just happened to my
Oh.
voice?
Did an alien
I had
take
like-
over?
No, I had like a bubble of meth
Oh. So the owner of Jimmy
Welcome
John's
to
is
Cloud
a.
Nine.
I'm Glenn.
I'm Glenn.
What if
Jerusha and I are having a baby.
what if they did public executions where they let people come in and watch like people get the electric chair?
They need to charge ahead and donate the money to
And-
charity.
But right before they flip the switch, they
You've
start
thought
the
about
Benny
this.
Hill song.
Yep.
Oh my god.
Or when you
Um,
flip the switch, it starts both.
Jimmy John's is a poacher.
Yeah, he's
The
a
guy who
huge
owns
hunter.
it, yeah.
I'm
But
not
that doesn't
eating
make him a
this sandwich
poacher.
anymore.
No, he's a poacher.
He is.
Yeah, like
Oh.
he hunts endangered animals.
I
Well,
just
not
wanna-
eating there anymore. Not that I ever do, but
Who the fuck would pay $9 for a sandwich anyway? Seriously.
I don't like Jimmy John's, but if it's a good sandwich, I'll pay.
It's bread and
don't eat
mustard
there.
and a fucking thing of meat and cheese. That's it.
B Wonder was telling us about this guy was trying to make him feel fat because he bought a sandwich.
Oh, yeah, I had fucking, not Quiznos, but
Slotsky's.
Slotsky's.
He
Yeah.
goes, "Oh, you're ordering the $20 sandwich," and Brandon's like, "Almost fucking bought two of them."
Yeah, just to piss him off even more. People do that shit, man.
I love. Quiznos.
Sorry, Natalie. What's
That's okay.
next?
I just have a few more here, and then this will be the end of part 1. And we, like I said, we'll do part 2 next week. I've already got it written out and everything. All right, haunted places. The Iditarod. You guys know what that is? The race.
Yeah, that's the Balto race.
Yeah. Yeah, it is the Balto race. Full of spirits along the race trail. One story involves an old woman. She had a decrepit cabin out in the woods, and people see the shadow, or it's in the shadow of Old Woman Mountain, actually. So there's a spirit of an old woman that died and then left her spirit behind. She comes out as either a young, beautiful maiden or an old hag. Just depends on how you see her. She will watch the sleds go by. She will stand off the trail or walk along it. Some ushers have even claimed that she grabs them, or their dogs will suddenly go into like a panic frenzy. Those that have dared to enter the cabin claim to hear the old woman singing to them, and then they go in a trance and they feel like no urgent need to leave. They just feel like they need to be stuck there. So she is so feared that sometimes racers will leave offerings to appease her. One racer said she's a time suck. This is quote, "You will just want to rest for a bit, but you stay longer. She definitely can wreck the strategy of the race. I'll go there and tell myself, don't look, don't look, don't look. Can't stop here, can't stop here, can't stop here." She kind of hums. First thing of the humming is the wind coming through the boards, but it's a tune, soothing but also kind of haunting, with minor notes rather than a melodious note. There is also another story of a man that died in an avalanche, and he will go around and help racers in need. So people also have claimed that they've seen racers in old-time clothing and furs alongside them, and then they disappear in a blink of an eye. I've actually read several stories on the whole seeing the old-timey racers in their like clothing, outdated, obviously not something you'd wear today, and they'd be racing along the trail, and all of a sudden they're gone.
Wow.
Or they'd be encampments of them, like, you know, where you stopped and rest. There'd be encampments of them, and you think that you're actually camping with other people, and they just turn around and look at you, and then all of a sudden they're gone.
Huh.
The Iditarod race, that's such a brutal thing. Like, okay,
I don't
so
like
you're in snowy mountains the entire time.
Yeah, I don't like the animal cruelty part of it.
The distance for that race, it's from Anchorage to Nome, Alaska, and the distance for it is 938 miles.
Mm-hmm.
The world record for beating it the fastest took 8 days, 3 hours, 40 minutes, and 13 seconds.
I think it's fucked up they use dogs for that.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't
it
like
is.
the whole...
It's only been around since 1967, which is kind of surprising. I feel like it should be
I thought it
older
would
than
be
that.
older than that.
Yeah, that's what I
Huh.
thought too.
All right, the Alaskan Bushmen, or Tornit as they're called. Alaskan Bushmen stories have been told since the first humans crossed the Bering Land Bridge. Stories say that the Inuit and the Bushmen lived peacefully near each other. Inuit people built kayaks for hunting, but the Bushmen did not build good kayaks, so they would kind of help each other out. But then one day, a young Bushman borrowed a kayak without permission and damaged the bottom of it. The Inuit that owned the kayak became very angry and stabbed the Bushman in the neck while he was sleeping and
Jesus.
killed him.
Dang.
The rest of the Bushmen ran away in fear that they would also be killed. Stories now tell of sightings of Bushman hunters disappearing later and then found dead, mangled, or never seen again. A few more here and then we'll wrap this one up. Haunted places, Gakona Lodge, and Trading Post. Stories from people that have stayed here report hearing a phantom footsteps and smell tobacco or pipe tobacco when no one is smoking. It is one of the oldest roadhouses in operation in the whole state. Another haunted place is Bayview Cemetery in Ketchikan. People share stories of a headless woman who wanders the cemetery at night. As they proceed to leave the cemetery, the woman's head will appear in the roadway with eyes bulging and her mouth stretching out in a silent scream.
Ugh.
Yeah. Fairbanks Memorial Hospital. Spirits are said to be seen around the nursery whenever an infant is close to death. Nurses say they are angels and they believe they are good. People also report plunging temperatures and the sounds of babies in Empty's room. And last one here is the Red Onion Saloon in Skagway, former bordello. Said to be haunted by ghosts of female spirits. Also said to be haunted by a former madam named Lydia. She likes to water the plants and push males from behind.
Does she pee on him?
Ew.
What's with all the people getting pushed from behind?
Why is she peeing on it?
So many questions.
So she waters.
I actually looked this place up online.
It's really
And
neat looking.
It's really like it looks like old western still.
Yes, for sure. There are also cold spots, disembodied voices, mysterious footsteps, and the lingering smell of perfume even when no one is around.
If you would have said pee, I would have lost it.
And it what?
You're so dumb.
Right. And it's funny because this Red Onion Saloon, since it used to be a bordello, they actually have mannequins dressed up in like bordello uniforms, like up in the there's two front-facing windows on the second level, and they have mannequins in the windows.
I want to go to Alaska.
That's really cool.
Me toozies.
I do too.
My friend went there and he said it was the best trip he's ever had.
Ever since I've seen Into the Wild, I don't know if you've ever seen Into the Wild
Yeah,
with
I've seen
Emil Hirsch,
Yeah.
directed by Sean Penn.
Mhm.
Ever since I've seen that, I've wanted to go to Alaska. Like, just the way that they depicted it in that movie was just, and like you, I mean, I have friends and family that have been to Alaska and said it's like the most gorgeous place they've ever been.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Beautimus.
So yeah, that's it for our part 1 of the Alaska road trip. Now a reminder, those playing along at home, even if you've already been to the state, or if we've already done the state, or you know in the future, or you just want to throw us something that's cool, just let us know. If you know of a haunted place in your area that you want us to go over, or you've been to a haunted place and you're like, I don't live here, but this is kind of fun and informative, we will make that happen.
Well, thanks, Nally, for all the information, and we can't wait for our episode 2 of that. Daily Double.
Ah, jinx.
Got him.
Yeah.
Vance.
Yes, Dan.
How can people get a hold of us if they want to give us money or talk to us about things or do anything that has to do with us?
Give us money.
How can they talk to us?
They can email us definitely at don'tlookunderbedpodcast@gmail.com. There's also a link to that in our social media stuff at don'tlookunderthebed.net. It's going to take you to our Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Twitter handle, if you just want to go straight through there, is at DLUTB. We also have a Patreon / DLUTB. And our PayPal account is don'tlookunderthebedpodcast@gmail.com.
All right. Well, it's been another fun and informative episode of Don't Look in the Bed podcast, the only podcast that has everything about, well, pretty much what we talked about, and then Alaska. Like, I don't think you're going to get another podcast like this. Exactly, yeah. Moving from Benny Hinn to Alaska.
Benny
Hill.
said it again.
Damn
Benny
it.
Hinn.
Benny Hinn's the guy that did the religious thing.
Yeah, isn't he the religious guy?
Yeah, he's the asshole. Damn it, I keep doing that. Anyway, it's been a long day. Sorry. This is the Don't Look on the Bed podcast. Once again, my name is Dan Wonder, and next to me is
Natalie Rose.
next to her is
Vinny Rose.
next to me again is
Nicholas Myers.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.